The Outlanders Journey. Tier 1, Level 0. Chapter 5. Arc. You peer into High Priestess Vavena's office, located in the back of the temple behind the altar. The room is full of stacked books, the tops of which hold precariously placed potted plants. Smaller scrolls are stuffed wherever there is leftover space. In the center is a long wooden table with burning incense. You can hear gently flowing water somewhere, but you can't pinpoint the location. Errol takes off her shoes outside the door and bows. You bow as well. Sitting next to the high priest is a handsome elven man, who you can only assume is the brother Finnewill that Errol has complained about. He is a full elf, and he appears younger than the other acolytes. He is well dressed and clean-shaven, with a long face and high cheekbones. He seems to have opted to wear his own blue silk clothes instead of the plain acolyte robes. He wears a golden ring. Every so often, he spins it around his finger, rubbing the engraving. There is a cold look on both High Priestess Vavina and Brother Finnewill's faces. They bow back to you. Errol grabs 2 kneeling mats resting along the walls and sets them down for you. She bows once more before kneeling onto the mat, and she takes you by the hand to help you settle in. "Thank you for coming," says High Priestess Vavina. Her gray hair is braided, and her priest garbs are neatly wrapped around her body. Sitting down, she barely reaches Brother Finnewill's shoulders. "Thank you for having us," says Errol. High Priestess Vavina clears her throat. "As you know, Ark, we have sent Brother Finnewill to go purchase a special ointment to heal your wing. Unlike a potion of healing, this ointment can be applied directly to the skin, so we can use it to perform much more targeted remedies." You nod, waiting for the "but." You already know. The stern looks on everyone's faces, especially Errol's, have already told you everything. But you're not nearly as upset as you expected to be. Maybe it hasn't hit you yet. You take a deep breath. "I am sure you are aware of how many people New Everlon has been sending out along the Great Westward Road lately," she continues. "Since you are from the area, you may have seen the travelers yourself." You nod again. "Sometimes they try to sneak into our forest, so we've had to put in extra guards. We were hoping that New Everlon would have some resources to spare, including the ointment, but it seems they are running short on supplies. I'm sorry to tell you that we were not able to acquire the ointment." Brother Finnewill bows once more. "I apologize wholeheartedly for failing to get even a single dose of the ointment. I did everything I could. Even the black markets were in." High Priestess Vavina raises her hand up to his face. Errol squeezes your hand. Out of the corner of your eyes, you can see her breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, looking up at the ceiling. You place your other hand over hers. "It's all right," you say to everyone. "I already knew there was a low chance. I appreciate that all of you still tried to give me a miracle like this. Truly, you are all too kind to me." Errol turns her head away. "This isn't the worst news either," you continue. "We all know Errol's going to be the chosen when she graduates. Someday she'll be able to perform even more amazing miracles, and we won't even need some silly ointment." You glance at her, but she's still looking away. "Ah yes, the chosen," says Brother Finnewill. "How can we forget?" High Priestess Vavina smiles. "I am glad to hear you are still so full of hope. This will serve you well in the eyes of the Everlight. She favors those who can persevere." She peers at Errol. "As I understand it, Ark, you have been participating in some of the forms, and you seem to be learning quickly. I know you have a place in the forest, but we also welcome you to stay with us as an acolyte. No matter what you choose, you will always have a home with us. Thank you, you say. Your home, 100 feet up in the treetops. The idea of going back there and showing your worthless face to everyone. To them, you are now dead weight. You are better off dying than becoming permanently flightless. I'm really glad to be here. I am happy to hear this, says High Priestess Vavena. To be honest, I'm scared to go back home. I don't think I'm ready for that yet, if ever. Errol squeezes your hand again. But if I'm allowed to stay here with all of you and Errol, I'd really appreciate it. High Priestess Vavena nods. I understand. You are more than welcome here. Yeah, says Brother Finuel. Might as well spend as much time with Miss Chosen before she leaves, right? You say. Leave? You catch Errol glaring at Brother Finuel before she turns to you, finally looking you in the eyes. Oh, he says. My bad. I was hoping to tell you more privately, says Errol. Her eyes are starting to well up with tears, her voice cracking. Ark, when I finish the exams, the next step in my spiritual journey is to travel the continent as a missionary. Her lower lip is trembling. So, you say, you really are leaving? Errol hangs her head, nodding. For how long? It's an indefinite amount of time. High Priestess Vavena's expression remains stoic, but you catch the slightest look of disappointment in her eyes, directed at Errol. Does every acolyte have to leave? You ask. What if I join the temple and come with you? Only a candidate for the Chosen can make this journey, says High Priestess Vavena. An individual who has undergone an exclusive and extensive lifelong training. But, you say, your heart begins to race, and you feel as though the floor is getting pulled from under you, and you're on the verge of plummeting. But why? I'm sorry, says Errol. She wipes her nose. I'm so sorry. I was really hoping we'd be able to heal you, and then you could go back to flying, and that'd be my send-off gift to you. That's not what I want. Ark, says High Priestess Vavena firmly. I know this must be very overwhelming for you to hear. This is all very disappointing news, and the untimeliness is making it difficult for you to process everything. I can only imagine how much you must be grieving. But Sister Errol must take this journey. Everything that she has trained and studied for will be put into real-world practice. She has prepared for this moment her entire life. She will be able to save many lives. As her friend, I am sure you want the best for her. Your face grows hot with shame. Her voice speaks with a level-headedness and command that isn't necessarily judgmental, but still hurts to hear. It's true that everything Errol has poured herself over is coming to fruition, and what should be her happiest day is being soured by you and your selfishness, your own desire to make everything all about you. It is also not permanent, says High Priestess Vavena. Though it is indefinite, sooner or later, Sister Errol will return and take my place as the High Priestess. We have not had a Chosen in many hundreds of years, so it will be especially exciting to see where she leads this temple. Her abilities will far exceed anything that I am currently able to do, and should you join us, you will be here to witness it. Is that not anything but good news? All these years being best friends with Errol, and this is the first time that you have truly understood the scale of what she's training for. She's told you bits and pieces of her life, but never the full story. The reason, you realize, is that you've never allowed her to share such things about herself. It's always been about you. Everything has been centered around you. Tears are flowing down Errol's cheeks dripping off her chin. You've known next to nothing about the Everlight, the very deity that Errol has dedicated her life to, and even though you claim to care about her, you've been unwilling to make sacrifices for her the way she has for you. You pull your hands up to your forehead. Sometimes, I take for granted just how amazing you are. You've done so much to support my career, so the best thing for me to do is to support yours, right? High Priestess Vavina nods. I do not say these words often, but I truly believe that we are all very lucky to have Sister Errol with us. She smiles warmly at Errol. Take pride in your friend, Ark. Errol lets out a stifled whimper. The tears flow down her cheeks even more readily now. I'm sorry, she says. I'm sorry I kept this from you. I didn't mean to. Don't be sorry, you say. I'm sorry I didn't do more to help you earlier. I'm happy for you. Really, I am. I won't be leaving for a while, she says. It's still over a month away. Until I go, I'll do whatever I can to heal you as much as possible, and I promise to spend as much time with you as I can. You nod. I don't want to get in your way, but if I join the temple, will you teach me the prayers and the rituals? Her eyes light up. Of course. Teaching him will be a good method to aid your studies, Sister Errol, says High Priestess Vavina. Errol nods, smiling. In that case, you say, I'd like to officially join the Temple of Salvation. The High Priestess puts her hands together. Welcome, Brother Ark.